If you're listening to this in the future, currently the world is in the midst of a pandemic and economic crisis. Around the globe, people are quarantined in their homes. Fear, uncertainty and anxiety is palpable and relationships will be put under more strain than ever before.
We've lived and worked together since we've been together and had many, many moments of failure, trauma and overwhelm. And we're here to tell you from experience, you can and will survive this.
In fact, if you choose, it can be an opportunity for you to grow together and learn vital lessons about yourself. Hi, I'm James Davis.
And I'm Claire Davis.
We're the Midlife Mentors, here to lift the lid on how to achieve health and happiness.
The balanced, no-nonsense way.
Hello and welcome to the Midlife Mentors. You're here with James.
And Claire, how are you? I'm giggling because James made a joke and we had to start again.
How are we all doing out there? So, if you're listening to this in real time, it's probably about a week after we've recorded it. Or is this one going up straight away? I don't know.
This one's going up straight away. Don't worry, James doesn't really get involved in all this stuff. He just pops along, has a chat, and then Claire has to get it out there.
I'm the talent. I just show up and do my bit.
You do show up all the time.
Yeah, most of you, if you are listening to this in live, near live, will be in the very strange corona situation that pretty much the whole world is being engulfed in now. So depending on where you are in the world, you will probably have varying degrees of lockdown and quarantine. So we thought it'd be really useful to, in this episode, talk about relationships.
Yeah, so firstly, just want to say our prayers and thoughts are all with you. Again, we are deeply touched by a lot of the messages we're receiving. We actually launched a free 5-day challenge on Sunday. So we're now on Thursday. And we've had 100 people sign up already inside the app. It's all like free content around body, mind and spirit and emotional well-being. We're covering everything from relationships actually to stress management techniques. We've got guided audio visualizations. What else have we got in there? Workouts, of course, and then some immune boosting food advice. So little snippets and obviously a lovely community on Facebook to support it. And we're just blown away by your stories that are going on for you right now. So we are really feeling it. And we're just sending you lots of love right now before we dive into this podcast.
Yeah, and if you want to get in on that challenge, so that challenge is basically set to run. It's a 5-day challenge. It's completely free. And you can register anytime and it starts running every Monday. Just go to themidlifementors.com and look for the tab at the top, the menu item, free stuff. And you just drop your email in there. Fill out the form on the next page, join the Facebook group, and you are in.
Yeah, you're in the app as well, which is awesome. Because we'll be really honest with you, it's the first time we've been working behind the scenes on it, but we got it all ready within about 4 days, didn't we?
We did.
And not very much sleep, but I was a bit anxious because James just wings it, but I was a little bit anxious that the technology might not hold up, but it did, and it's flying, and it's gorgeous. So we're super proud of that, I have to say.
Yeah, so we'll recap that again at the end of the podcast and we'll drop the links in the notes where you can sign up. But let's go into relationships because a lot of you now will be...
Why is this important, James?
Well, probably you're going to be at home with your partner. Now, depending on how you live your lives, you may not be used to spending extended periods of time with your partner locked in your home with them. So this could be a great thing if your relationship's amazing. Or, let's be honest, for the majority of people, there's going to be elements that are going to be challenging, I'm sure a lot of us are able to have time away from our partner, and actually, that's something we're going to cover. Like having your own time is important, your own space is important. We've literally been thrown together. We're locked in the prison cell of our home with our partner.
It can be a prison cell.
Yeah.
No, but it can. And let's not mess around here and try and sugarcoat it. It might be, like James said, it might be really, really overwhelming for you. We've said this already, but in the last podcast, all your routine has gone out the window. Normal now doesn't exist anymore, and you've been thrown into this new way of life without any warning, any preparation, and there you are with your loved ones. You might have your children there as well. It's super, super overwhelming and anxiety inducing. So that's what we're here to talk about. One thing I do want to just jump in and say is this isn't just about loved ones. Essentially, we are going to kind of mainly cover that, but what I do want you all to know is some of the tools and techniques that we're going to give in this, because we're all about practical tools and techniques that you can use right away in the now. They can be applied to any relationships you have, whether that's work colleagues, your parents, your siblings, your children, anything. So these are really, really good tools. You're going to want to listen and carry on listening, because we're not just talking about romantic relationships. We're talking about tools and techniques you can use across the board to foster kind of deeper, more rewarding relationships across the board.
Yeah. So let's get straight to it. And we thought we'd maybe talk a little bit about our experience, because we recognise we are quite unique.
Not in an ego way, but...
And that we are used to this kind of situation. So we were laughing the other day going, oh, well, yeah, what's changed for us? Well, we can't go to the gym anymore, but apart from that, we get up, we train, then we spend all day together working and go to bed really early. So actually... nothing's changed for us. We're not that sad, really. We do have little bits of fun every now and again. But we recognise that we're really lucky. We've been living this kind of lifestyle
since we got together.
And also because we work in the same business together, and we're entrepreneurs together, we're used to living with a really high level of uncertainty, we have things planned, we have business plans. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But, our lives, people always have said to us, I don't know how you do it. One day you were here, then you were there, you're working on this, you're working on that. It's just the way that we live our life. So we're recognising that has equipped us quite well for the current situation.
Yeah, and the level of stress and uncertainty that we have in our life is sometimes like a real boiling pot of emotion and pressure. So you guys are in crazy circumstances now where there is uncertainty and pressure like we experience, and that is like a boiling pot in your own relationships, but we've had that in ours, and we kind of just want to explain how some of the things we've experienced ourselves in our relationship and how we've got through them, and just to give you that little bit of insight that this can actually work in your favour for your relationship. It can become a beautiful, beautiful opportunity for you both.
That's right. You've actually been given a gift here, which is a gift of having time together to connect or reconnect and get to really know each other, and time to invest in your relationship. And that's one of the tips we're going to talk about a bit later. But I guess our experience would be the first thing you want to realise is that often we are a mirror of our partner.
Yes, this is a tough one, guys, to admit to yourself. I still struggle, James still struggles, but he's right, we're a mirror.
I don't struggle.
Yes, you do. He still gets really frustrated with me, and I still get frustrated with him. I have to just share a meme that James actually sent to me. I won't use the exact language that was on it. By the way, how many amazing funny memes have come out of this? You've got to see the light side. There was this one where it said day 1 of quarantine, the loving couple, and then day 4, she's basically on the sofa looking at him angrily going in swear words, "Can you blink a bit quieter, please?" And I just found it really funny because James types like Kermit the Frog. He's really loud. If it was an old typewriter, it would just ping, ping.
Well, that's what I learnt on the old typewriter.
You're that old.
I'm that old.
You're that old. But yeah, it still drives me slightly mad. But again, we've got like little tips and tricks around that. It's just, I know that's about me.
Yeah, so if you really want to get into the psychology of this, which, you might as well because you're locked up together, is the things that annoy you about yourself sometimes, you'll often see manifested in your other half because they're the mirror to you. And so that's why it annoys you even more, because it's the thing that annoys you about yourself. So being able to recognise that and, of course, accept it is key to helping diffuse any of those flashpoints.
It's really easy to blame everyone else in any relationship, but particularly when we're in this confined environment, it is really easy to not look inside yourself, to blame the other person, to abdicate all responsibility. But the thing is, you are just going to live a very angry little existence inside your own head if you continue to think like this. This is your opportunity. Honestly, relationships are human nature. We're all supposed to have relationships. We're supposed to be in communities. Actually not looking at your relationships and seeing what it's trying to tell you about how you can grow into a better version of yourself is just missing a really beautiful part of life.
Exactly. So listen, we talked about the time we've got now all together. And one of the key things is, relationships require investment. Like anything else in life, if you want to get more out of it, you have to invest into it. And in relationships, we invest time and money. Now, most of us might have really busy lives, and this is where relationships can go wrong. I said, again, this is romantic, but it could be friendships as well. Like we're all so busy. We don't really get time to speak to those people, to see those people as often as we like. So we don't invest in those relationships as heavily, which arguably can make them more disposable as well because we have less emotional investment in them. We have this time now to actually invest and nurture. I say like a good relationship is like a house plant. You can't just chuck it in the corner and leave it, which a lot of us do, right? Take it a little bit for granted.
You're calling me a house plant?
You're a beautiful orchid. You need to water it, tend to it, make sure it's getting enough light, all the rest of it. And the same as your relationship, you have to look after it. So what we're going to give you a couple of exercises and then tips.
Yeah, we are indeed. One of the things that we often say is you're not actually experiencing the viewpoint of the other person when you're constantly just focusing on your own. I think we just, like I was saying earlier, I think we just think our view of the world is right. My view of the world is right, but yours is unique and no one else has that. And this is what no one really understands about relationships. You can try and shoehorn and cajole someone into seeing your viewpoint, but you're never going to win because the only thing you can change is your reaction. The only thing you can control is who you are, not someone else. Because I tell you what, it's futile and you will continue to push that person away and away. In fact, so much that when you're focusing on, we're going to go into this, but when you're focusing on the things you don't like, guess what? You're going to see more and more and more of them. They're actually going to project more and more of those things right back at you. So you are not helping yourself by constantly thinking about those things.
No, and in psychology we call that reticular activation, which basically means the more we focus on something, the more we become aware of it.
Exactly.
So how about a little exercise from NLP that can help you appreciate not only your own awareness but your partner's position, and we call this exercise perspective positions. So this is really useful, particularly for conflict resolution. But you can apply it really to any kind of dialogue or talk. So we often find ourselves in situations where we're disagreeing with someone, and again, this could be a romantic partner, it could be a friend, it could be a work colleague. So what I'd like you to do, what we do in this exercise, is about seeing not only the other person's point of view, but the world view as well. So just bear with me on this. I'd like you to think right now, just think about someone, anyone, and a conversation you had with them that didn't really go how you wanted it to go, didn't go well, you felt could have gone better, could have gone differently. So just go back to that time. And in your mind's eye, see yourself there talking to that person. Now, of course, you can see what you're saying, you can see what they're saying. You have your point of view over whatever the thing is you're talking about. That is your perspective. And we know that's anchored in you, so we've got no problems with that. What I'd like to, it's going to sound really weird, is like hold that picture of you two in your mind's eye, but step out of yourself, walk around behind the other person, and step into them. So you're now looking at yourself. And what I would like you to do is consider what their experience is. How is what you're saying coming across to them? What is their perspective of the situation, of the thing, of what you're saying? I'll just let that sit a bit, and you'll probably be able to see already that if you can put yourself in the other person's shoes, you know, there is a different perspective and different meaning to the one you were coming at it from.
So now you've obviously gone into that other person's perspective. What we'd like you to do is actually take yourself out of the entire situation of either of you. This is called the worldview. I always find it really helpful to ask people to imagine this like on a stage or something. So now you're actually looking from a worldview at both of you. I just want you to imagine that for a moment. Looking at both of you, what is now coming up about this situation? How do you now see it from a complete outside perspective? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What's their body language together now? So that's a really, really helpful technique that we find just to get different perspectives, because as we've said, we'll continue to say, when we're really entrenched in our own perspective, it's really, really hard to see straight. It's hard to come from compassion. It's hard to come from love. So try that. Again, if you need to, just pause, come back to this, but make sure you do these techniques and tools, because they are really, really valuable.
Yeah, I mean, this technique, the more you practice it, the better you'll get at it and more effective it will be. And listen, often when we get in these situations, if we can step back from it, we realise we're coming slightly from a place of ego, of wanting to be right. And this exercise will help you see that, you know, if whatever the argument's about, it's like, you know, I've got my point of view and I just want to, if you can step out of that and go, oh, you know, what's the other person experiencing? What's their point of view? What's the outside view of it? It'll bring like a much broader perspective to it and put it all in context.
So that's one of the exercises. We've got kind of one more before we go on to some of the hints and tips nice and quickly. We're going to whiz through about 10 tips that we've got. But this is another exercise that you can practice that, again, we find it really, really helpful. And it's from Byron Katie. So if anyone's studied Byron Katie, she's absolutely amazing. And it's from one of her books, and she terms this the work. I've done this, it's incredible. So put simply, she asks us to go on a journey. The first step is to notice something that upsets us, right? Or saddens us or angers us. Then we go on to write our thoughts, capture our thoughts around the situation. Then the next step is to question. So we invite our mind to inquire. Is that true? Our subconscious mind loves questions. It loves to percolate over questions. So that's notice the thoughts, notice what's upsetting us, write down the thoughts and the situation. Then the next one is question, inquire, ask, is that true? Then finally, the fourth point is to turn it around. We find an opposite thought and see how that feels. And we ask ourselves, is that truer or less true than the original thought? So what I'd like you to do, next time this comes up, and actually someone could be a loved one, anyone, this works with anyone, I want you to go through this process. Notice, then write it out, then question, is it really true? I'll give you an example. Is it really true he or she doesn't appreciate me? Then you say, what's the opposite of that? The opposite could be, actually, he adores and loves me. He thinks that I'm amazing.
You've been reading my mind again.
Then you allow these feelings to rise and switch them. Does that feel more true? And kind of like with practicing and reading Byron Katie's books, I really, really urge you to read her books, because it actually gets you questioning your automatic reactions to things. It's so powerful just to notice and become aware of what we're thinking and feeling. Write it down, get it out, question. Is it true? Is that actually true that he doesn't appreciate you? She doesn't appreciate you? Is that true? And what's an alternative thought that's completely turning that on its head? And sit with that, because it takes the sting, the total sting out of the current situation.
Beautiful. We love that exercise. And hopefully those 2 exercises there are going to give you like some awesome tools to basically just help you not get so caught up in the moment of conflict in your relationships or your discussions, and be able to take like a broader view, because it's all about, at the end of the day, being able to like diffuse your ego a bit and come to it from a place of love and compassion.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're going to do go through now is just some little tips that James and I have pulled together.
Our top 10 relationship tips.
Yeah, about like how we have dealt with this for years now. Like, we got together and we immediately, even in the honeymoon period, went straight into working together, being in a relationship together. It was tough. It was hard work, guys. Don't think for us. This took a lot of work. There was lots of ego coming in. There was lots of baggage, and we had to work through all of this stuff together using those tools and techniques we've just shared with you. 100%, we still use them, and these tips.
So the first one, in the words of the great Aretha Franklin, respect. And two aspects of this. One is mutual respect. So, making sure you respect your partner. And again, familiarity breeds contempt. And this can sometimes go a little bit out the window. And almost would say, I intentionally disrespect my partner. But sometimes the respect, can go just through being so familiar all the time. So that's just one to watch. The flip side of the coin is make sure you're respecting yourself as well. So, just check in on like how you're showing up for your partner and for yourself, And if we're talking about like little things like, when we're in lockdown, make sure you're getting up and you're still making sure that you look nice, putting on like good clothes. You're not just like lounging around the house in tracksuit bottoms with like
crusty
Doritos down your front.
No, it's true though. No, it's not sexy. It's not sexy wandering around in your onesie to the other person. So respect them enough to not let them see you like that, and respect yourself enough. Always remember as well why you fell in love, guys. This is about positive aspects. So one of the other tools we use is just writing down, like, when they're absolutely getting on your... just write down positive aspects about them. They might be why you first fell in love, but just kind of where you focus is what you see more of. Just remember that.
You're on like the 1,000th page of your book about my positive aspects, aren't you? Bigger than Encyclopedia Britannica.
Babe, I would just go and fiund the back of an envelope. Oh, I'm joking.
Okay, the next one is like, make time for your other. Recognise during this time as well, like your other half or even like friends, again, or family members are going to need support. They're going to need reassurance. So make sure you're there for them. You can give them the time that they're going to need. Make time for yourself.
So, interestingly, this is another thing that we've learnt about ourselves in our relationship. I know James won't mind me sharing this. I need more time on my own than James does. I know that seems really weird because I'm like the loud one and like the blah, blah, blah. But I love my own space and time. I've lived on my own for very many years. And it was something that I really missed when I first got together with James. And we were living this life, I really missed myself. And it took ages for me to realise that the frustration that was building up was because I hadn't had time out on my own. So please, give yourself permission right now to have that time without feeling guilty.
Yeah, and I'd say it's something, just do discuss this with your partner. Don't just be like, I need time on my own and go and slam yourself in a room.
Oops.
Yeah. Just be like, hey, you know, I just need a little bit of me time right now. I'm going to go in the other room and, you know, read a book, meditate, whatever. But both of you should be doing that because we all do need like our individual time.
And I actually did fail at that at the beginning. We're laughing now, but I didn't communicate that to James, and I didn't. And at the beginning, James is a bit like, oh, why does she need that? And then that triggers all sorts of feelings and thoughts for him. So, yeah, really, really important to communicate that.
I just thought you had an incredibly delicate digestive system, the amount of time you spent locked in the bathroom.
God, it's almost as bad as the live we did the other day where James kept talking about his underpants over and over again.
Next one is still on time, and that is make time for each other together. Again, you can be together a lot, but like make some sanctity time. Usually we'd say this, like, make sure you're going on dates. That's a little bit challenging right now. But you can still do date nights, get the kids to bed early, put them in another room watching like a movie, like cook each other a nice meal.
Just carve out some time.
Just quality time together connecting.
I don't know whether this is going to work out 10 guys, but we don't care. It doesn't matter. We're winging it.
I'd say the next one, linked to that, is just talk.
Don't make assumptions.
You've got all this time together, so assumptions make an ass out of you and I. And this is like in human nature, we'll often try and fill in the blanks of other people's behaviour by making assumptions about what their underlying beliefs are for those behaviours. Don't. Just talk it out, especially if there are things that trigger you. Just talk it out, and you probably find it something really innocuous that is simple to dispose of.
Well, yeah, because you're coming from a worldview inside your own brain, and actually making those assumptions is based on your own reality, not theirs. Even if you think you know them really well, chances are you're assuming. I know I'm going to say that one. Get intimate, guys. Ooh. He's put down, get intimate. I'm going to say it. Make time to...
I've written that all over the flat. Post-it notes everywhere.
Oh my God. What, you need to remind me, do you? I didn't think I needed reminding.
You don't.
No, guys, really, seriously. Intimacy, we're talking about sex here, obviously. Intimacy of sex is really, really important. And obviously intimacy is different from sex, just plain old sex. Make sure you do have to make time for this. It is the grounding of relationships. It really is. And if we aren't making time for that, the other one is going to feel rejected. And it's not going to help that connection between the two of you. So again, this is an opportunity. You are cooped up at home. I know you might have children, but it is an opportunity for you to get to bed earlier, get up a little bit earlier, and, become more intimate with your other half.
Last tip here is do things that show you care. And these have to be like grand gestures, because again, they're quite tough in the current climate. But just, if your partner's working away in another room, surprise them, come in with like, here's a mug of tea and a biscuit. Biscuit. Just do little things that show you care, and they can often demonstrate more than words will say. Absolutely.
Like James, I have to say, he's just a lovely, lovely man, but he always does show that he cares.
Okay, so we're going to leave you with just a little thought here, basically summing up. A relationship doesn't look after itself. You need to nurture it, protect it, invest in it. Just like pretty much most things in life, the more you put in, the better it will be.
I hope that helps, guys. I know it's trying times, testing times, and we just felt really, really compelled to do this podcast on relationships today and just share some of our own experiences. But listen, we're going to finish off just by reiterating how we can help you at this time. We have got kind of like almost like a survival guide to what's going on in mind, body and spirit for you right now, and it is totally free. Cannot stress enough, James and I literally sweated blood over this, and there were some tears.
In less than a week, we basically had to teach ourselves the tech of the app, figure out what was going in it, create all the content for it, get it all uploaded, build the app, build all the landing pages, connect everything up. Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, and we've done it because we know what we have in our toolkit, personally and professionally, is what you need right now. We know we can help you, and we know we can actually positively impact your life right now. So this community, we want connection. What the world needs right now is connection and community. That's why there's also a Facebook group, private Facebook group, to support this 5-day free community challenge.
I will say, like, the community in there is amazing already. You know, we're not even a week in yet.
No,
People are like
3 days,
posting
4
like
days.
pictures, supporting each other. Yeah, I'm going to carry on dropping lots of free resources in there as well. So go to themidlifementors.com. Go to the free stuff button, menu item at the top, and just register and fill out the form on the next page.
And if you forget to do that, don't worry, I'm going to put it in the notes of this podcast episode. I'm actually going to put the link that takes you straight to the sign-up page for the app and the Facebook group.
Okay, wishing you all a wonderful day wherever you are in the world.
Yeah, we love you very much, and we're with you, and we're thinking of you. Take care. Mwah.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the Midlife Mentors with Claire and James Davis.
We'd love to hear from you, so drop us a line at info@themidlifementors.com with any questions or topic suggestions.
And make sure you join us on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. You can find us under the Midlife Mentors.
Yeah. What? Yeah.